Yo, what's going on, guys? And we're hearing that the Atlanta Hawks could be making some trades. All right, trade candidates on the Hawks: John Collins, DeAndre Hunter, Dejounte Murray, and Clint Capela. This is from Jake L. Fisher. The Hawks continue to be described as one of the more active teams in the trade dialogue around the NBA. DeAndre Hunter, John Collins, and starting center Clint Capela, along with all-star guard Dejounte Murray, continue to be mentioned by team personnel as viable trade candidates, with DeAndre Hunter appearing to be the most involved of the talks the Hawks have had entering draft night. Now, we know Dejounte Murray was made available. We know DeAndre Hunter's been connected to the Pacers and many other teams. He's not been able to reach the play that we saw him in his second season when he was this 18 points per night scorer through those 20 games till he broke his wrist. And John Collins, a frequent trade candidate. Clint Capela, I think, is the most likely to be traded because Clint Capela has not allowed Onyeka Okongwu to become the starting center. And Okongwu is a guy who was compared to Bam Adebayo coming out of college, and he's entering his fourth season, and they kind of need to know what Onyeka Okongwu is. And I think that's why he's probably one of the more likely trade candidates for this team as you go out there. I've joked around. I want to hear your guys' thoughts. I don't think this trade is realistic, but Pascal Siakam, OG Anunoby for John Collins, DeAndre Hunter, and Dejounte Murray, as that deal, like physically, or financially, it isn't actually as unrealistic as it sounds, as the Raptors in this scenario would be sending about, with the combination of OG Anunoby and our man Pascal Siakam, equating to about $56 million. All right. It actually $56.5 million they would send out in that deal. A combination of John Collins, DeAndre Hunter, and Dejounte Murray is only $63.6 million. So they'd actually be acquiring $7 million, which if they did that deal, it'd actually work for the team, for the Raptors. Now, do you think the Raptors would be getting worse or better? That's up to you to decide, because then they would bring back Pirtle, you'd assume. But if the Raptors were also trying to move off of some contracts that they didn't like, those contracts could either be like Thad Young and Otto Porter Jr. If they were really trying to do that, Thad Young and Otto Porter Jr. as two guys that they would like to get rid of, they could ask the Hawks in return to also throw in either. I would have to assume that that's where it gets difficult, because you're like, well, this team doesn't really have much that they can throw in all willy-nilly. As you'd say, like, oh, would Bogdanovich be somebody that they want? Probably, but I don't think that that's a guy who's going to be traded. But a guy like Bruno Fernando and Garrison Matthews, and then you have the Hawks send the 15th pick in this year's draft. That deal works. I don't think it's realistic, again, because the Hawks would be sending out $64 million while the Raptors would be sending out $68 million. So the Raptors are actually saving money. This deal would be Pascal Siakam, OG Anunoby, Thad Young, and Otto Porter Jr. to the Hawks, and John Collins, DeAndre Hunter, Dejounte Murray, Bruno Fernando, Garrison Matthews, and the 15th pick to the Raptors. The Raptors actually get better by 2 defensive rating points, but do get worse by 3 offensive rating points. Again, I do not think this trade is realistic, but those are just ideas that I just wanted to float out because, for me, I thought it was funny that that's actually something that was being, discussed, and it's just crazy to see how the NBA, as the season progresses, just how it evolves, and people like myself, we speculate, and it's interesting. I'll say the least. It's interesting. That was all speculation. I want to hear your guys' most outlandish or realistic trades for these guys, because obviously you don't trade guys in packages usually because you want to get the most out of them, and by trading them separately, that's usually how you're able to get the most out of a player's value. But that's basically going to be it for me today, guys. Hope you guys did enjoy. Like, comment, and subscribe. I am going to head out. Peace. Oh.